Good morning, day 72. I had to share my campsite with a family last night, a father, a mother, and an adult daughter. So I kind of tucked myself back in the back end of the campsite and turned my tent around so that they could have some privacy, and so could I. The mom was sick. I don't know what was wrong with her, but she was definitely moaning a lot and just went right into her tent and didn't even eat dinner last night. Other than that, the evening was uneventful. Nobody visited us in the middle of the night, though this morning when I was up at 4:30, I heard a lot of big things moving around. I'm sure it was just deer, though. Nothing ever came very close. And I saw a deer on the trail, a big deer, just before the campsite, before I arrived last night. So I was thinking of cooking my dinner and eating it at the water source instead of my campsite last night, just to add a layer of protection against the bears. But the water source was busy. There was someone there when I arrived. It was a Sobo flip-flopper-ish hiker. His name was Get It, and his girlfriend and dog were back at the other campsite where I stayed. There were only two kind of big camp spots. So I felt a little uncomfortable just kind of getting set up there while he was there. And once he left, I was able to wash up a little bit. I didn't use soap or anything. I just kind of wiped down with the really cold, nice spring water. And just as I was finishing up with that, the family came by, and then they ended up getting water and spending some time there too. So I gave up on that idea. But that is a tactic that backpackers like to use, where they'll eat at a different location, and then when they get to camp, they just set up and go to bed. And it just keeps the smells down for the bears. I did that a lot last summer. It works very effectively, especially when the days are long. Not so much when you have short days. But yeah, the night was good. I slept well. It rained a little bit during the night. Not anything substantial, but just enough to make the leaves wet. And the trail is just like damp. But it's going to be a pretty easy 8.5 miles to the Gap, Rockfish Gap, and then I just have to get into Waynesboro. Can't check into my room until 3, so I'm going to just find a place to settle in and maybe try and get my laundry done beforehand, and just get all the vlogs uploaded. I also need to stop at the Rockfish Outfitters and grab my resupply box, plus my box that I sent down with my summer kit. Very excited. I feel a lot more comfortable about switching to that now. My only worry now is how it's going to handle 4+ days of food, because it only has a 1-inch hip belt, and that might make it a little heavy, so it might be uncomfortable, but I think I can make it work. It's just going to be a matter of making sure everything fits in the bag, because I have a few extra things that I've added since the last time I used it. But let's get the day rolling. Well, I've done pretty good so far about not getting poison ivy. It is everywhere. But Zora was very friendly, and she was brushing up against me and jumping up on me a little bit. Not that I mind. I love dogs. But that's probably how I get most of my poison ivy, from my own dogs. So I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 days I have poison ivy. we'll see. I mean, it is everywhere. I'm sure she had it on her. I'm sure of it. Working on some mental preparation this morning. There are tons of cobwebs on the trail now that that woman and her dog have, they've not hiked this far down. So lots of tickling of the skin. And I'm also hearing and feeling mosquitoes on my skin. But I've always been told that it's only the pregnant females that bite. I don't know what the numbers are, like what the ratio is. But I try not to have too much bother with mosquitoes. I try to learn to just tolerate how they feel. And then the second they bite me, they get a smack. So I'm just trying to start like working on the mental sensitization of that. And the biting flies are gonna start soon. They really hurt. I actually dislike them more than mosquitoes because when they bite, it's just like a jolt. And then, of course, the good old gnats are gonna come. So I'll have to start wearing my bug net at that point. There's nothing you can do really to keep them at bay except wear a hat and sunglasses. And that only helps so much because they still like to fly up your nose, or try anyways. And that's annoying. So just taking the time this morning to get that mental preparation in place, because probably by the time I get back on trail, everybody's gonna be active. These are the flowers and bushes that are so fragrant, so good smelling. Haven't come across a cemetery on the AT in a little while, so it was only time to have another one. This is the Lowe Family Cemetery. Some of the residents here aren't very old. We have Jeb, who died in 19, born in 93. He was young. And then we have Rose. She died in 2016. This is probably the oldest one. I can't really see what the date is. Looks like 65. Just finished up a little morning snack. Sometimes when I hike these final days into town, I don't even stop. I just want to get into town, fly in there. But today I'm not feeling that. I just saw a beautiful yellow bird. I don't know, today I'm kind of just moving a little bit slower today and just kind of enjoying things. Maybe that's because of yesterday's big day. I don't know. But I do think I might get some rain before I finish up this hike today. And though I'm enjoying myself, I am getting a little tired of the cobwebs. So this is my way of not getting so many in the face. Now we're at the W.J. Mayo home place. All that's left is the fireplace. Maybe a little bit of the foundation. It'd be cool to know the story of this little place. All we know is W.J. Mayo lived here. Finally! I have a mile to go and a runner girl just came by. All the cobwebs are clear. Whew. I don't know what was going on with the spiders in this area, but they were busy. So much better. Okay, we're almost done. We have like 2/10 of a mile left to Rockfish Gap. I can see the sign for Interstate 64 up there and some cars in a parking lot. I believe I have to cross over this road and then that's it. Yep, there is a sign, Rockfish Gap. Hi everyone, so I'm already in Waynesboro. I was barely at the road for 5 minutes because this wonderful lady stopped and picked me up. This is Janet, and she's just doing it out of the kindness of her heart. She had a niece who hiked the trail twice, so she knows all about hikers. Her car's all set up for them. So she dropped me off at Rockfish Outfitters. I grabbed my boxes, and then she brought me down to the Quality Inn. One stop.
Hike your hike.
Thank you, Janet. Hello from Waynesboro, Virginia. I just want to say that I got off the trail at 9:57 this morning, and I was at Rockfish Outfitters by 10:01, and they open at 10 o'clock. I was in and out of there super fast, and then Janet got me down to the Quality Inn, and I was checked in to my room, laundry done, and showered with 2 vlogs up and ready to go, and a lot of my gear already sorted out by 12 o'clock. So now I am down in the cute little downtown, and I am going to go to the river for a burger. Quick little scan of the little downtown. I do know how to time these things. I would have loved to have gone into this store. Today's Tuesday. Does this just not look dreamy? Oh my god. Yes.
Oh, maybe I read. Maybe it was.
Came out to rain. Kinda knew that was gonna happen. Fortunately, it's not that far of a walk up to the hotel. Well, I timed it right because the sun is already coming out. I also have to chuckle because I just missed Oz at the restaurant I was just at. Apparently he had the whole bar in stitches. So this is where I'm staying while I'm in Waynesboro. As I mentioned, I'm doing a Nero and a Zero. And this is what it looks like. So far, I'm really quite pleased with the place. It's clean. There are no bugs. It's within walking distance of the restaurants and Walmart, which is just right up there. And there's laundry here. So I'm happy. I think this might be the Nero Zero combination I was looking for. And it's a rainy day on the trail. And I'm not on the trail. My room is up over here. So here's my private little retreat for a little while, 48 hours. Got my tent drying out here. Sleeping bag getting aired out and fluffed up. Poncho's drying out. Everything was still wet from a few days ago. This is what my bathroom looks like right now with all the stuff drying out. I just washed everything, so that's why that stuff is drying out. Got my resupply box and my summer kit in there that I need to get into. And this is my room. Very happy. So I just unpacked my summer kit stuff and I'm a little bit in a panic because I am dropping down on size pretty significantly. Oh boy, I hope I can fit everything in that little guy. And if I can, it's going to be love. Here's a little bit more of downtown Waynesboro. It's actually a really nice, cute little downtown. I've decided I'm going back to the river for dinner because they're going to be closed tomorrow. Tomorrow I can find other places to eat. Had too many times when I couldn't get into a good restaurant because it wasn't open. Okay, everyone. Well, as I said, I made it to Waynesboro. I'm here at the Quality Inn. And I'm beginning to realize that I really do need a Zero to get everything done that I need to get done. Not only do I have to contend with switching out my gear from winter to summer, which mainly requires that I have to go to the post office and ship that stuff home, but also at my next resupply stop, I have a friend meeting me, and I needed to work with her on getting a shuttle from Dulles Airport to Luray, however you say that town, which then snowballed into we needed to firm up where we were going to stay there, what time we could get a shuttle back to the trailhead the next day, and where that would leave us at the end of when her time with me, and then had to help kind of figure out how she would get back to DC from there, whether it was going to be a remote rural area or something more populated where she could just take an Uber and get back to DC from there. So I think we've got the ball rolling on that, but it took a little bit of time to figure all of that out, and we're still trying to work on the shuttle from Dulles to Luray. So if anybody out there knows of anybody who could give her a ride, she's looking for one. So you'll be meeting her in a few days. So tomorrow I've got to go to Walmart and just get a couple things that I can't get on the trail, like fruit and vegetables. And I've been panicking about the quantity of food that I'm going to have to carry in this new tiny little pack. And it was just not even on my radar because I've been doing resupply boxes. But I spoke with a friend who hiked the trail last year, and turns out I don't think I'm going to have to carry that much food after all, because there are all these little restaurants and food places called waysides within the park that are pretty much fully up and operational this year now that COVID is kind of over, that I can eat from along the way. So I think my strategy is going to be that I'm going to keep all of my breakfasts and most of my drinks, maybe even some of those I can let go. And then I'm going to cut back on my snacks, lunches, and dinners and try to plan on having some of that stuff while I'm out there. Snacks I probably can cut way back on because I can just pick those up at the little stores that they have along the way. So I'm going to be giving up some food here that I've already paid for and set aside for this trip, but I think it's going to be a fair exchange to do that in order to cut back on the weight that I'm going to have in my pack, especially since it's the first few days out with it, and I'm going to have to probably work out some kinks in how it's all set up and get my body a little bit used to it because it's just been used to a different pack. The biggest issue with this one is that it only has a 1-inch hip belt, so it really cannot carry a whole lot without being uncomfortable. I'm pretty sure that last summer I went 3.5 days with food in it, so a 3.5 day supply of food. So I know that I'm good up to that. It's anything over that I think is going to be a struggle. But I know that there are not too many days left that I'm going to need to carry that much. So, phew. And then I just have to make sure that the weather stays pretty good, which I think it is. And I'm not going to go all crazy. I'm still going to be carrying gloves, a hat, synthetic jacket, a lighter pair of long johns, and then I think I'm gonna try to keep this alpaca shirt, but I'm gonna send my sleep shirt home. I was so hot last night. I think I can just sleep in my underwear, and I think that's about it. I wanted to change out my hat to a buff, but I couldn't find a merino one in the Outfitters store here, and I really like merino best. I think it does good in both cold and heat, so I'm just going to hold on to my hat a little bit longer until I can get my hands on a merino buff. And I think I'm going to send my rain mints home too. I'm finding that just keeping them inside my poncho keeps them warm enough on those colder days. So I'm going to go with that. And hopefully I don't need to give up my liner, but I will do that if I have to. I think I'm gonna at least hold on to it for a little while longer. And then if my bag is still uncomfortable, I'll drop that as well, because I did not use one all last summer and it was fine. And I think that's it. So I'm definitely piecemealing my way through this, and hopefully I get to have a little rest tomorrow as well. There are a few vloggers that I really want to watch some of their vlogs. So that's the one thing that when you're vlogging, you just don't get the time to do. So I kind of would like to just catch up on some of the other hikers out there and see what's going on with them. So that's all for today. I will catch up with you tomorrow, and I hope everyone has a good night. Bye.